him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-magobbin, it's time for the only news that matters. And Judas Priest Rob Halford says that legendary Black Sabbath frontman Ozzy Osbourne should be knighted for his contribution to the music industry. He was speaking of classic rock where Halford said, "If one person deserves a knighthood, it's Ozzy Osbourne, just for the joy he's given people over the years." A year ago, it was reported that the UK government confirmed that Ozzy was under consideration for a knighthood after thousands of people signed a petition aimed at getting the singer to get knighted. In January 2023, the petition organizer received a letter from the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport about the quest to get Ozzy in. And the letter says, as you are aware, Mr. Osbourne has been under consideration for the honor for a while. Unfortunately, to date, he has been unsuccessful. As I am sure you will appreciate, there is extremely fierce competition for the very limited number of awards available. The fact that Mr. Osbourne is not recognized for an honor does not mean that his contribution is not appreciated. With some 1,000 awards available each round, and perhaps, 6 or 7 times, unfortunately, it is not possible for every candidate, however valuable their services, to succeed. However, I will confirm this case remains under consideration at this time. However, we can unfortunately give no guarantee as to the event outcome of timescale. King Charles III, New York honor list, recognized the exceptional achievement of people across the United Kingdom and those who have shown the highest commitment to selflessness and compassion. The list is released annually by the Government Cabinet Office in the name of the British monarch. In March of 2003, Queen's guitarist Brian May was officially knighted by King Charles, and May was recognized for his half-century of memorable musical compositions and inspiring efforts in the arena of animal rights against fox hunting and badger calling. Last August, Halford picked Black Sabbath's classic 1970 self-titled debut album as one of the albums he'd be willing to listen to if he found himself stranded alone on an island. He said, "I would have to go with Black Sabbath, the original Black Sabbath album, and I think is the motivator for all great things in heavy metal." And back in 2002, Halford broke down his top 10 favorite albums in an interview with Rolling Stone and explained how they helped make him who he is. Among the records included on the list was Black Sabbath's debut, and Halford said they were local guys from the same neighborhood in the same neck of the woods as Judas Priest. We literally grew up together, inventing this great music that we love and cherish so much called heavy metal music. I choose the Black Sabbath album just because, like so many bands, your first one or your second record really establishes who you are as a band. It's a bit like Priest with Rock-a-Rolla and Sad Wings of Destiny. Sad Wings of Destiny became the one we love so much because it becomes defining. With Black Sabbath here, with the first example of what heavy metal music should sound like, just like the texture, the tone, the structure of all the material, Ozzy's very unique voice. It just becomes a very important record in the discography of Black Sabbath. Halford joined Sabbath for 2 gigs to support Ozzy Osbourne on his last show of his Bullshit No More Tours tour in November of 1992 in Costa Mesa, California, after Sabbath singer at the time, Ronnie James Dio, refused to take the stage. Rob Halford also performed with Sabbath member Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward on August 26, 2004 in Camden, New Jersey, on an Ozfest after Ozzy came down with an attack of bronchitis and was unable to take part of the concert. So there you go. Rob Halford. First of all, let's talk about the first Black Sabbath album. You know, there are times I think that's the best Black Sabbath album. Because when it comes to like 70s Sabbath, it fluctuates a lot. You know, most times, like right now, it's Volume 4, but sometimes it's Sabotage. Sometimes it's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Sometimes it's Master Reality, and sometimes I feel it's the first album. It's hard. It's hard to stay with my favorite Black Sabbath album. But, yeah, it is an awesome album, and if I had to pick one on a desert island, I probably would pick Volume 4, but somebody said to me, you can't pick Volume 4. You got to take the first Black Sabbath album or nothing. I'm like, give me that first Black Sabbath album with The Warning and NIB and Bit of Finger. Oh my God, Sleeping Village, Wicked World. Oh, just a phenomenal, phenomenal album. And Rob Halford wants Ozzy to be knighted. Now, whatever, man. To me, I don't want to see Ozzy being knighted by Prince Charles. You know, Prince Charles should be kneeling in front of Ozzy Osbourne. So, no, when it comes to Ozzy being knighted, I do not want King Charles III to knight him. I want King Diamond to knight him. Hell yeah. And seriously, I know it's an old argument, but, you know, all this contribution Ozzy did, it's like, man, you need Bob Daisley, Jakey Lee, even Phil Soussan, all these people, Lee Kerslake, all these people that are very responsible for making Ozzy famous. Well, you know, you can also throw in Geezer and, Tony and Bill, but, you know, and I'm not one of these people that run around calling Ozzy talentless, because I don't think he is. I think he comes up with amazing melodies. He wrote the lyrics to the song Black Sabbath, Fairies Wear Boots, The Writ, Am I Going Insane, Who Are You? He wrote all those lyrics, and Geezer did most of it. But writing melody lines there's a lot of talent in that. But you know what? I'm not going to argue with people out there that say Ozzy's talentless, because, you know, it's pointless. All I can say is, hey, Bob Daisley, what he did with Ozzy was amazing. Amazing. Those lyrics, the bass playing, the guy contributed so much to Ozzy, it's ridiculous. But without Ozzy, he ain't shit. And I could say the same thing about Ozzy. Without Bob Daisley, Ozzy ain't shit. They need each other. And Ozzy's also talking about doing a couple farewell shows in Birmingham to say goodbye to his fans. And, boy, the guy can hardly stand or talk now, so even if he's using tapes on stage, he's going to have to need something to prop him up, because if you saw the last two Ozzy performances in some football games, he had this thing in his back to hold him up in case he fell. And, 90 minutes of that? That's going to be a painful performance. But I love Ozzy. Don't get me wrong. I just can't go see him anymore. He did come down here, I don't know, like 6-7 years ago, and I didn't go. I want to remember Ozzy from the last time I saw him in 2011 or 10 on the Scream tour. He was freaking amazing, and I left that show going, all right, I've seen a lot of crappy Ozzy shows, and I've seen some really good Ozzy shows. Tonight, I saw an awesome Ozzy show, and I want to remember Ozzy live with this show. So that's it. I'm not going to go see Ozzy anymore. I love you, Ozzy. I just can't. I would not pay to see this person that's a shell of what was the Madman, you know, that I love so much. But I'm a big Ozzy fan, and I love a lot of the solo stuff in the early career, 80s Ozzy. You know, that's really my favorite. And, of course, my all-time favorite is the Black Sabbath stuff. And Tony Iommi should be knighted by King Diamond, and so should Geezer Butler and Bill Ward. And Ian Gillan for Born Again. That's what I think. What do you think? Leave it in the comments below. And thank you all for watching the only news that matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And ring that little notification bell. And hey, like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.